So let's look at some opportunities, marketing options. And there's a lot of different opportunities to market your cattle. The local livestock auction or livestock commission or sale barn, however you want to call it, the local place that offers a competitive bidding atmosphere for your cattle. And they are certainly a good opportunity to market your cattle. Some of the advantage of your local livestock auction: one, it's convenient for the seller. So if the sale day is on a Saturday and you can get the cattle pinned, you can sell them any Saturday unless there's a holiday. So you can deliver the cattle and pick up the check the same day as well, or they'll mail it just a few days later. Any class of cattle can be sold. There's going to be a market for all types, shapes of cattle. Now, if your cattle are much different than what the majority of the cattle are and what the majority of the order buyers are looking for, you don't have as competitive a market, and so you may not receive as high a value for those cattle. You decide when and where, again, if it's the right Saturday or Tuesday or Thursday, whatever your sale day is, and you can get the cattle in a pen and get them there, you can market them. It is a competitive market, okay? You've got buyers that are competing against one another. Now, the buyers will differ from market to market. Some markets maybe favor one type and kind of cattle over another kind. If your cattle are a little different, and maybe not the mainstream market, if there's only one buyer at that local livestock market that day looking for your type of cattle, then you're likely not going to be real happy with the price that's been paid. But it is a competitive market there. You're guaranteed to get paid for your cattle, and that's a big thing. The thing to remember, though, is, and a lot of times producers don't, is that livestock auctions work for you as a producer and a seller of those cattle, because they are charging you a commission. So make sure that wherever you go, they're doing a good job of getting the buyers in, helping you market your cattle, prevent shrinkage, all of those things. And that's important because you are paying them a commission to help you market those cattle. Some of the disadvantages: one is the commission. You're going to have to pay a commission to sell your cattle at that particular location. And it's a fair, because they've got to earn a dollar as well. The shrink of your cattle can be substantial on freshly weaned calves, and it can be anywhere from 6 to 10% shrink is possible. If the shrink is managed, and again, this is an area where you can work with your local livestock manager, livestock auction manager, to manage that shrink to where you reduce it and it's not as great. And there are some strategies for that. You may not be fully paid for your genetics or management practices as well. So if you've got some superior, high quality, high marbling genetics in your cattle that are going to grade exceptionally well because they're marketed on live and the hoof, if that information is not relayed down the line, you're not going to get paid for that extra effort that you put in to raise those cattle. Direct sale. There's a lot of advantages to direct sale, and sometimes this is called marketing to an order buyer or country marketed cattle. So they're marketed on the ranch. Some of the advantages for that is you're no longer a price taker. You set the price. Now the challenge is you've got to figure out what the market is, and then you also have to go back and negotiate with those buyers what it is so that you get paid and compensated fairly for your cattle. Then you must negotiate the sale, all right? And that can be an advantage or a disadvantage. Another advantage is to lock in the price with forward contracts. So you may not move those cattle and wean those calves, and they're not ready to market until August or September, but you can put a contract on them as earlier in the summer to try to lock in the price. Now, if the price goes lower, that's an advantage to you, but if it goes higher, you may lose out a little bit there. You sell the quality that you've achieved in your cattle, because you could pass on some more information to those buyers, and you're selling them based off of their true genetic merit. The producer can develop a relationship with the buyer and better serve the buyers with the cattle they want. And they're willing to pay more because they're confident with the performance of your cattle. The scenario of you get what you pay for is really true when direct marketing cattle. Some of the disadvantages. Marketing is up to you as a producer. You've got to market those cattle and take the time and negotiate the deals. The market information can be limited at times, and so it's hard to actually put a price on those cattle. And one of the ways to help with that is if you get multiple bids for your cattle. Just don't go to the first person that's going to order buyer that's going to put a bid on them. Get multiple bids on your cattle so that you can go in turn kind of figure out where they are as far as their market value. It takes time and effort on your part. Got to be truckload sales because most of them are sold by the truckload. And collecting the money from the sale of your calves is up to you. And there have been some wrecks over the years where folks didn't necessarily get paid for their cattle for one reason or another.